when I was 9 years old, my mom, she pulled our old Chrysler LeBaron station wagon, those kind of imitation wood paneling. She pulled it off the side of the road and just about ran my dad over. He was walking on the side of the road, and about a half hour before that, they had gotten in this huge fight. And my dad had stormed out of the house, and my mom sat on the right there in the front room for a few minutes, just crying hysterically. And then she gathered herself up and was like, "We're going to get your father." And my siblings and I piled into that Chrysler LeBaron station wagon, and we went out to go find my dad. And we finally found him, and she pulled over and she jumped out of the car, and they started after, just went after it again, fighting again and arguing there on the side of the road in Sandy, Utah, and cars are passing by and they're just yelling at each other. And my siblings are in the back, and I'm in the back seat of this Chrysler LeBaron. I'm looking out the front windshield, and there's this lull in the conversation. I remember it so clearly. And for a moment, I thought they were going to reconcile. And I just remember thinking in my mind, like, I didn't know what was going on. You know, 9 years old. I mean, what did you think when you were 9 years old about your parents' marriage and life and adult stuff? Like, I didn't know what was going on. I just knew that I just wanted my parents to be happy together. And I wanted us to be a happy family together. I wanted my daddy around so I could spend time with him and play with him and do all those things that you should do with your daddy. And there I was on the side of the road watching my parents fight. And there's this moment where this lull was there. And I saw him for a second. Oh, they're going to make up. Like, it's going to be okay. And my dad reached out and put his hand on my mom's shoulder, and she stood there for a minute looking at him. And then she set her teeth and slapped his hand away, and then they fought again for a few minutes, and then my dad turned around and he walked off down the road towards the McDonald's. And as he's walking off, I remember thinking to myself, like, "Daddy, don't leave." And I thought, I just want my daddy back. I just want my daddy to be here with me. And as he's walking out, my mouth was shut, but my brain was just screaming, "I just want my daddy. Daddy, please come back." And my mom, she stood there for a few minutes and watched him, and then hung her head down and came and sat in the car and just started just convulsively crying again, and again pulled herself together. My mom, how she did what she did, I don't know. It just amazes me. But she pulled herself together again, started the car up, and by this time my dad had made it all the way down to the intersection. He took a right-hand turn and walked off past the McDonald's down the hill. And we drove up to that same intersection, and we took a left and went up the hill the opposite way. And that was the last time I saw my daddy for about 5-6 years. And we didn't know if he was alive or dead or where he was at. And this was in critical teenage years of my life. And I don't know what's in your life that has driven you or has just anchored itself inside of your life to form who you are and what's important to you. But that moment, watching my daddy walk away, will be forever etched inside my heart and really fashioned and formed who I am and what is important to me. So much so that a number of years later, I was a missionary in the Netherlands. I lived in the Netherlands for 2 years on a volunteer basis, and we ran around the country 2 by 2 with a companion. So there's this other young man with me, and I was almost to the end of my 2 years, and we're walking down this street in this town called Groningen up in the northern part of the country, and my companion says to me, "Well, what do you want to be when you grow up? What do you want to do when you get home?" And I thought for a moment, and I had that picture in my mind of seeing my daddy walk away. And it was like this revelation. It was like, I don't know what it was, but it's this magic, powerful moment in my life. And I turned to my companion. His name was Ryan Lay. We called each other Elder as a title. And I said, "Elder Lay, I want to be a daddy when I grow up." I want to be the world's greatest husband, because the other picture I couldn't get out of my mind was watching my mom stand there by herself being abandoned, right? I just wanted to be the greatest husband and the greatest daddy in the whole world. And I had this picture in my mind of what that meant. It meant I could be at home, I could work from home and spend a ton of time with my family. It meant that I could have a big family, lots of children to run around and play and to jump on and wrestle with and get mad at and get happy with and do all the things that parents do. I wanted to do it all in abundance with multiplicity of joy and happiness and blessings. And I wanted to marry the most amazing woman in the whole world that would do this crazy adventure with me. And we had to have money. Of course, you had to have a lot of money to support a big family and do a lot of stuff. And I came back from Europe and dated, and I met this girl named Margie Anderson on a Friday night. We got set up on a blind date. And oh man, I had dated a lot of girls, but I had never dated a girl like this, right? It was just, she blew my mind from day one. I was smitten, Twitter-baited, like completely overcome. And so much so that we went out on a Friday night, we went out on Saturday night, we went out on Sunday night, we didn't see each other on Monday night, and then on Tuesday, we spent the whole day together, and I proposed her on Tuesday night. I asked her to marry me because I was like, I'm not letting this one get away, right? And I don't know why, but that precious Margie, she said yes. And so that was the first major anchor point. I'm like, man, I'm going to treat this woman like she is a goddess. I'm going to treat her with deference and love and respect. And I wish that I had always been 100% perfect in that commitment. Hey, but I'm human and I've made mistakes and I've gotten grumpy. But overall, I have done my very best. And I to this day, I love this woman. And over the years, my sweet Margie, she has given us as a family 11 children, and one by one, they're just so amazing. And I did have the opportunity to be there when all of them took their first step. All 11 of them, I was there, watching their first step. I remember our daughter Esther, our first Esther. She was so sweet. And I remember her, we had a little coffee table in our front room. And if you watch children learn how to walk, like she was holding on, she'd pull herself up, and then she'd kind of wobble and take a little steps around that and fall down on her backside. And then she'd pull herself up on the coffee table. And pretty soon she got so she could circumnavigate the coffee table, right? Around and around she'd go. And one day we were in there, and she was over on the coffee table right there. I was sitting on the couch over here, and I got down on the floor, and I was like, Esther, come here, Esther. And she went around a couple more laps of that coffee table, and she got to the corner of it, and then she just sprung herself out in the great wide expanse on her own two little feet. It's just her and the carpet, and there was my sweet little daughter, stumbling and kind of awkward and back and forth. And she took a couple of steps and fell down into my arms. And I thought, man, here it is again, another major piece of my joy and happiness locked into place. Well, I had to figure out how to stay working at home, and I had to figure out how to make money, and a lot of it, and consistent money. And we tried everything. I tried all kinds of stuff. I never got a college degree, so I haven't been to college. But I was like, I got to make this work. So first I tried Amway, multi-level marketing, and I learned so many great things, but I couldn't quite make that work. 5 years of doing different stuff there. And so I spun off on that. And we went through a pretty hard period of time. I went to work for a bank for a little while, and then spun off on that. And then we just kept trying new things. And I kept failing at business after business after business. And I'd fail this and would, survive for a few years here. And this went on for literally 15 years. And at the end of that 15-year period, I had been in politics, and I had done speaking, and I had done sales training, and I had done a call center with about 30, 40 employees and telemarketing. And I had done all this stuff. And it was in the middle of that I had this amazing opportunity to figure out this world of copywriting, and where I could work from home and write. And then I added onto that over the years the ability to do marketing consulting and speaker training and persuasive communications and all these kinds of things. And somehow through that whole process, I figured it out. And it was a lot of work. There was a couple $100,000 in debt, like I said. The cars got repossessed over those years. I had the electricity turned off a number of times. We had Christmases where we literally had nothing. And I don't know if you've been there. I don't know if you've been in that circumstance where you don't have anything, where you don't have any money, and you don't have any hope, and you don't have any prospects of getting money. And I remember through part of this whole thing, I was laying awake one night and just thinking, I just want to be a hero to my children. I just want to be a hero to my wife. Why is this so hard? And I just kept hammering up against this seemingly insurmountable, impenetrable wall of living my dreams to the fullest, of having time, of having money, of being able to do things and travel and experience things with my family. And I wanted this lifestyle for them and for me. And it seemed like no matter what I did, I just keep failing at it and failing at it and failing at it. And in that process, I met a couple of mentors, and I wish I could tell you there was one moment that literally changed everything, but there were a lot of little moments that changed everything. But all of them were connected with finding mentors, finding people who would help me, finding people who would go on the journey with me. And we did it. We did it today. As I said, I've got 11 children, and I love these kids. You want to know about me. You want to know why I do what I do. You want to know what drives me. And just come over to my house and watch me read at night with the children, or go on walks through the forest that we've got as part of our backyard on our property here. Go on trips. We like to take the motorhome and travel around the country. And I'm never happier than when I'm doing these things, or going. My dear wife and I, she has put up with so much over the years, and we get to go on these regular trips on a consistent basis. And just the two of us. And people ask, well, who's watching all the kids? And I love to say, the inmates are running the asylum, right? And they're not inmates, and it's not an asylum, but it's kind of fun. People think 11 children in the house must be crazy. Well, it is sometimes, but it's a great joy. And I'm telling you all this, my friend, because I wonder. I've got to imagine that you have hopes and dreams and goals, that you've got some aspirations in your life where you're thinking, I just want to be a hero to this person, or I just want to have more, or I just want to achieve more, do more, become more. And you've got this burning fire inside of you that you just know you can do more, you can have more, you can be the person that God wanted you to be, that you want to be, that your spouse believes you can be, that your children believe you can be. And you've got this flame, this fire inside of you, and you just wonder, is it ever going to come out? Is it ever going to see the light of day? Do I really get to show up one day as that person? And I'm telling you my story so that you can understand it can be your story. That this journey you're on, you get to be the hero of that journey. But you probably need some help. You probably need some tools. You probably need some resources, just like I did, just like every other success story in the history of the world. You probably need someone to lift you up and shake you off and give you a hand in the challenging, difficult, hard times. Well, I just am here to tell you that whether it's me or somebody else, your success is inevitable if you'll just believe it is. Your victory, the realization of who you want to become, will happen one day if you just keep moving forward and you just keep struggling. You just keep striving. You just keep working. You just keep learning. It will happen. It'll come. I know that for me, that day has come, and then I've set new dreams and new goals and new hopes. And that's what I want for you. And so I don't know if it's right for you and I to work together. I don't know if it's right for us to be on the same team, But if this is the only moment where we ever connect with each other, then just know I believe in you because you're a human being and you've got limitless potential. You have literally an infinite worth right now, today. And whatever you dream, whatever you believe is possible, with a little bit of work, with the right mentor, with the right team, with the right tools, with the right perseverance and the right commitment, whatever that is, whatever that dream is, I just know you can have it. I know you can have it because I watched my family fall apart when I was a kid, and I figured out how to break that mold and to create an amazing family that fulfills every single aspect of my deepest desire and my fondest dreams. I get to live it all. And I want you to have the same thing. So wherever you're at on your journey, keep pressing forward, and victory is assured. Talk to you soon.